All history is measured by the art it created, isn't it? I mean, the Etruscans, well, they were a wonderful society. Why? Look at their art. When I'm sitting painting, I'm in my world. You know, that's my world. It's my whole life. It's my whole motivation. It has become that. In a sense, it's an obsession to create something more. From an early age, I really, like all children, loved to get into art and draw things and so forth. When I was 12, MCAD had a program, and they gave scholarships to children, and I got one of the scholarships. So I went from a little rural town to MCAD. So I'd go over there and walk the halls, at 12 years old, trying to figure out what is this all about. And it was in Hollywood that I ran into Vincent Price. And there was an empty chair next to him, so I went over and said, I wonder if I dare, He was one of the finest art connoisseurs in America. So I really wanted to pick his brain, And I said, can I show you something I'd done? And he said, sure. And I brought it in and unrolled it. And he sat there and he looked at it, and he looked at it. Finally, he turned beet red, and he looked at me and he got mad. And I thought, oh, I've done it now. And he says, if I could draw like this, he said, do you think I'd be an actor? He said, you need to go to a master. I sold everything I had in Hollywood and I went. I went, found out where Picasso was living, went to the door, and she said, why are you harassing Picasso? What do you want? What are you doing? Picasso sees no one. So I said, I'm going to come back every day. I've come too far. And I said, I'm an artist. And I said, Vincent Price saw my work, and he said, the only man that can teach me is somebody like Picasso. She said, Picasso doesn't teach. And I said, Picasso teaches every artist every time he picks up his brush. My reason for going to somebody like Picasso was really, I wanted to hear from somebody who was really an artist of renown, who would know to tell me I had enough talent to go on. He said, I've looked at your work. You have the talent, go paint. It's the technique that allows me to do that. And that's what they need to teach in this country. It's technique, the chemistry and the mechanics of creating what you want. But it's harder to break away from a lot of the things you learn in academia. The teacher stops them and says, no, Johnny, you can't draw the cow. You have to draw a cow. And it's really pushing them towards generic. And it really is very lethal. And the reason I went to children that were 4 to 7 is they weren't in the educational system yet. So they were still working from their own basic primal instincts. And that's why I call it primal realism. Because from that primal drawing, I just render it in 3 dimensions, and you get realism. I'm teaching other artists to do the same thing. I proved that everyone's an artist. Never lose that element of creativity. It's not confining, it's freedom. It seems like it's a basic need of all mankind. Just want to live long enough to paint some more. I want my epitaph to be just one more brushstroke. Then I'll be ready.